All right, guys, what's happening? Happy Thursday to you. It is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. And this morning, we're going to talk a little bit about trust. We're going to talk about how if you lack trust in other people, it may be coming from the fact that you just don't trust yourself enough. And we're going to talk about where that comes from, where the lack of trust in yourself comes from, and how when you do learn to trust yourself, when you do the things that allow you to trust yourself, it is a game changer when it comes to how you see others, because your level of skepticism, your level of distrust will convert into more optimism and more relationships that are established with a high level of trust. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up. All right, what's happening, guys? Happy Thursday to you, man. I'm happy to be here. It is a beautiful fall morning here in Pittsburgh. I hope you guys are having a great morning as well. It's in the 50s here. I think it's like 54 degrees this morning here in Pittsburgh. And I've said it before. I'll say it again, man. I love fall. I love waking up to, just a little bit of brisk temperatures and, just getting out. I got my exercise in this morning. I was on the phone with Mr. Ryan Austin, who's about 30 minutes away from the office here. Got some guys coming in. We're going to do some dinner tonight here in Pittsburgh. We're going to do some work tomorrow. And man, it'll be a great couple of days here having some people in town to check out what we do here and spend some time together. So with that said, let's jump into today's show. I'll tell you a little bit about it. So, one of the things that I see in people, that have, relationships or, sometimes in leadership and business, I see a lot of people that don't have a high level of trust for others, and what I see most of the time, and, I am not talking directly to any of you, but if the shoe fits, you can wear it. A lot of times when we talk about these things, at least part of what we talk about, we had a great top contractor school inner circle call yesterday. And part of what made it great is I feel like, including myself, there were parts of that call that applied to me. And that's why you guys show up here in the morning, right? Is to get information that maybe you might know already, but you need reminded of, or to get information that you don't know yet, or maybe that you're just unaware of, right? And so the title of this morning's show is If You Don't Trust Yourself, It'll Be Impossible to Trust Others. And, one of the things that I see in leaders, I see in people as they navigate through life is, I see a lot of people that don't have a lot of trust for others. And I don't mean like, I don't trust them to give them something or to let them around my family. It's just like, they're skeptical people, right? There's a lot of skeptical people out there. There's a lot of people that don't just naturally have a lot of faith in other people. And what I find many times by asking some questions, of people is that generally speaking, when we are like that, because we all go through seasons of life where we're a little bit different, when we go up and down, sometimes we're super consistent in life and sometimes we're all over the place, right? Or we're really letting ourselves down at different points in life. And, what I find by asking questions is that generally speaking, when somebody doesn't have a lot of trust for others, it's because they lack a lot of trust and confidence in themselves. And, that is something that I have put a lot of work into myself to raise my level of awareness when it comes to that. When it comes to the promises that I make to myself, I'm a lot better today at keeping them than I was 5 years ago. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. When you tell somebody you're going to be somewhere, you're there. You're on time. You're just doing the things that you say you're going to do. And what that leads to, guys, is a high level of self-confidence. And that self-confidence and that positivity that you create within yourself, that spills over into the world. And that is, it's one of the most important things that we can do in our lives, is to just very simply keep the promises to ourselves. When we say we're going to eat better, start eating better. When we say we're going to go to the gym, unless there's a very, very good reason, go to the gym. When we say we're going to complete a task in a day, we complete the task, even when it's inconvenient. And, you know, I see a lot of people that think that breaking those little promises to themselves aren't a big deal, or even in some cases, breaking promises to other people. And when you break promises to yourself and you break promises to other people, wouldn't it make sense that you would naturally think that other people do the same thing? Versus if you put a lot of faith in other people, you put a lot of faith in yourself because you're keeping the promises to yourself. Well, then wouldn't it make sense that naturally you're going to have a lot of confidence in other people doing the same? Just naturally, inherently, you're going to believe that other people are going to deliver like you do. And that creates, by the way, it transfers a bit of confidence to other people. They can feel that confidence you have in them, and they don't want to let you down. People naturally don't wake up every day and say, like, man, I'm really going to, you know, not do anything today. I believe everybody wakes up, generally speaking. There's probably some exceptions to every rule, but generally speaking, I think everybody wakes up with the best intentions every day. You know, to show up, to do a good job, to at the end of the day, feel proud of themselves for what they did. And, you know, the problem is that it doesn't always pan out that way. It doesn't always happen that way. The reason that people lose trust in themselves and then in turn lose trust in others is because they don't keep the promises to themselves. They don't do the things that they say they're going to do. And so they start to see the entire world with a high level of skepticism. And so when you find yourself questioning other people a lot, and there's a person that I worked for that, you know, didn't have a whole lot of trust for anybody. And as I got to know this person better, there was a reason why. It was because, you know, this person wasn't very trustworthy themselves. And so that's the best example in my own life that I often think about, is that if you can't trust other people, it's probably time to look in the mirror and figure out why. Because it's not always those other people. You know, I use an analogy when I'm coaching salespeople that's pretty funny, and forgive my language in this one, but I say that, you know, if you wake up, you're a salesperson, and you meet, you know, an asshole out there trying to sell people, then that person's probably, you know, just difficult. You know, they're just a difficult person. You had bad luck that day. But if you meet assholes all day long, then you are probably the issue. And so that goes in line with the same thing that we're saying here, right? If you don't trust other people, it probably lies in the fact that you don't trust yourself. And when we figure out how to trust ourselves, when we figure out how to deliver on those promises that we make, when we figure out how to create momentum in our own lives by just doing the things we say we're going to do. You know, I use this one as an example all the time. You know, I've struggled with keeping consistent on health and fitness for a long time. I'm on a great run right now, but you know, I use every excuse that all of you do. I'm too busy. I'm this, I'm that. I got a lot going on. All fairly valid excuses, and a lot of people will validate them for me. Yeah, man, you do have a lot going on. You know, if I say that, somebody will validate it for me. When you guys make excuses in your own lives, remember, there's lots of people around you that are probably, you know, just looking for you to be safe, that are looking for you to be happy. And they think that by doing nothing, you're going to be happier. You don't want to stress yourself out. I hear that one all the time. You do too much. You need to slow down. I will tell you this, guys. I have not spent one day laying on a couch, doing nothing, being unproductive, that at the end of the day I ever felt good about. I want you guys to think about that in your own lives. People validate you all the time. But when they tell you to slow down, how do you feel when you do? How do you feel when you spend those days doing absolutely nothing but watching TV all day, every day for an entire weekend? Sometimes that's needed, but if you do it all the time, man, you're not going to feel very good about yourself. And so in my life, I've learned that when I keep the promises to myself, I build a lot of self-confidence. I build a lot of self-trust. I build a better self-image. When I look at myself, I'm pretty proud of the progress that I'm making. And I want that for you guys too. And I want you to realize what happens when you don't trust yourself. What happens when you don't keep those promises to yourself? How do you feel? It's a very simple solution. Do what you say you're going to do. Health and fitness is the easiest thing. Like we all know what it takes to be healthy, but yet we make other choices on a daily basis. It takes discipline to build those things into your life. And when you do, you start to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you'll trust others. When you figure out, like I have over the past few months, that if you just weave health and fitness into your routine, it becomes just like anything else. It becomes second nature not to eat the food that doesn't serve you, not to eat the food that doesn't make you, to eat the food that makes you unhealthy. And when you figure that out, you tend to want that for other people, don't you? And so you have confidence in other people because of the confidence that you've built in yourself. The trust that you build in yourself will create trust in other people. It's just a way of life, guys. It's a way you have to live. If you want to be absolutely fulfilled in your life, the first thing you have to do is be happy with yourself. You got to find a way to build trust in yourself, to deliver on those things that you say you're going to do. And when you do that, you're going to live an extraordinary life. One that you wake up to every single morning excited for what you get to do, not what you have to do. And you're going to find a lot of people around you that get better because of your attitude, because of how you view them, how much confidence you have in them, how much belief you have in them, how much trust you can place in other people. And so that all starts with you. They say happiness is an inside job, and it's 100% accurate. Happiness around you starts within you. And so the first thing that you have to do in your own life is build a high level of trust for yourself. I hope that what I talked about here hit home with some of you guys today. It is one of the most important lessons you can have in your life. And it's one of the things that probably will give you the most fulfillment and the most joy, is by literally just being proud of yourself, by knowing that you'll never be perfect, but that you show up every single day and you do the things that you say you're going to do for the most part. If you're 99% accurate, that's probably pretty good. And we all know how it feels when we don't do the things that we say we're going to do, right? When we don't do those things, man, it's a down period in our lives. It's a tough season. And so do those things today that you say you're going to do. If you've got a list of things that have been hanging out there, tackle that list. You'll feel better about it when you're done. You will not feel better by ignoring it, relaxing, not doing the things that you said you were going to do that are hanging over your head. And when you start to build that trust and you build that momentum in you, you'll be able to transfer that trust and momentum to others. That's it for today, guys. Happy Thursday to you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you guys again tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.